Hello, everyone. You're welcome to another beautiful episode of Leadership and Leverage, where we have real and candid conversations with leaders, founders, decision makers at innovative companies. And we're back again to have a conversation with Uchi, the CEO of ChiMoney. I know some of you may have heard about ChiMoney, and of course, they are doing amazing work in simplifying global payments. You're welcome to the show, Uchi.
Nice to be here. I'm really happy that you invited me to join the podcast and looking forward to sharing my experience with everyone.
Thank you so much. You may not know, but before I usually reach out to founders or leaders to invite them, I have been connected with them for a while and I've just loved what they're doing. So I don't just wake up and say, oh, I want to have a conversation with someone. I might be connected with them for like a year or two, and I love either their approach to the problem they are solving or their personality. Something usually attracts me to that person. For you, it's basically about what you're solving, right? It's Payments is a global issue. A lot of people are solving the problem, but I love your approach to it. But I wanted to find out, has it always been the problem you wanted to solve? What moved you to say, you know what, let me pick this particular problem and start looking at ways to solve them?
Yeah, so it's actually a personal story. I used to run a community of developers and also aspiring people in tech. And one of the big challenges that we had when we organized conferences and hackathons and events was always sending payments to the winners of those events. So we had winners across multiple African countries. And to pay them, we had to use a combination of several payment platforms. So it was always very, very slow. It was expensive. And then in some cases, people don't get their money despite us paying lots of fees to deliver those payments. So in 2021, I was like, why can't we make sending payments as easy as sending an email, right? Because,
See.
yeah, and that's the entire premise of what we're building at ChiMoney.
Nice, nice. There's always a reason why a founder chooses to, do something. And from your profile, starting off at Microsoft, moving to RBC, Shopify, would you say there are things you learned as you grew in your career that have played a role in founding and leading the team at Chi Money?
Yeah, for sure. Yes. So I started my career as an engineer, and then I moved on to engineering leadership and then developer relation or the community aspects of things. So throughout my career, one of the things that have been helpful to me was always learning from those that are ahead of me. So instead of trying to like figure out everything myself, I always try to lean on mentors to guide me, right? And that has been like that has been really constant throughout my journey. As a developer, in most cases, we want to try to figure out stuff on our own. Yeah, it's good to do that, but it's probably better to uh, lean on the work that has been done by others. So there are already giants out there that are doing amazing stuff. So why do we want to uh, invest our time in figuring out what has already been done? So that has been super instrumental in my career across like different roles.
It's exciting how you've mentioned mentors. We had someone on the show a few days ago, and funny enough, they mentor themselves. They're building one of the fastest growing CRMs in Europe. He's based in France, and he didn't really have someone to direct him and his co-founder. So basically, they learned on the go. They watched tons of videos on YouTube and things of that sort. While some people are fortunate to have people that would point them in the right direction, others are not as fortunate as that, right? They learn things on themselves. So, what are some things probably you picked from mentors that have really been helpful to you leading the team at Chi Money?
Yeah. So one of the things that I picked from mentors, particularly my first mentor out of school, Levi. is that when you're mentoring someone, the focus shouldn't be on the mentor, but on the mentee. So, I mean, Levi in my case he always listened to the challenges I was experiencing, and I did most of the talking, right? And he provides his own perspective, but he doesn't really like tell me exactly what to do. So he tries to help me reason through the challenges I'm facing and figure out, get the answers for myself. And that's kind of what I do at the team. So I have an engineering background, so I still provide engineering direction to the product team. And when we have interns or junior developers, I spend a lot of time guiding those developers, not just on being efficient with the code, but also on leveling up their career, right? And I applied the lesson of letting the mentorship be led by the mentee and let them speak, listen to them, and then uh, guide them towards like a decision while allowing them to make the decision themselves.
That makes a lot of sense, Uchi, because you can have impact on people when you spoon feed them.
Correct.
You can just tell them what to do, tell them where to find the resource, and allow them do their thing, right?
100%, 100%. Because I mean, it's more impactful when you give people resources and then let them kind of think through the problem and get an answer for themselves. That gives them more conviction. That helps them know why they are doing what they are doing, and it's just best for everyone.
Yeah, I appreciate that you sharing that. Keyword giving them the resources, because of course some
Correct.
leaders sometimes they don't give the resources but expect people that they lead to run along. So I love that you mentioned the fact that leaders should give the people they are leading the resources and allow them the room to learn and grow. Now let's, you in particular, what is it that you always, leadership is something for some people is something that learns in their younger years.
Mhm.
And for some, it's not something that comes inherent to them. They learned it because there was a need for them to, they found themselves leaders. Some people, I usually say this thing often, some people that were not prepared to lead, but because the situation has presented itself, they have to do it. For you in particular, what was it for you? Were you really anticipating, or were you really fully prepared to lead the team at ChiMoney? Or was it a case of, it's something I have to do, I can't run away from it, you just have to do it?
Yeah. So my experience with leadership started in secondary or high school. And
Great.
before that, I didn't have like any experience. But how it happened was that I was given a task to deliver a presentation as part of the as part of it, like a daily devotion. For those who are not familiar, in most lots of Nigerian secondary schools, we have
Yeah.
like an opening ceremony every day.
Yeah. True.
So I was given a task to
Every
deliver,
morning.
to deliver a speech, and I spent hours just preparing that. I mean, it wasn't like a big speech, but I spent so much time preparing it. And from there, I got appointed as the senior prefect or head boy. Uh, I haven't had any experience being a leader, and it was like a big challenge, right? I was like, it was thousands of students, and I had to basically guide the other prefects and also the students to do things. So as a boarding school, there's like cleaning the hostel, bedtime, there's time for dining. It's just a lot of things going on. I didn't have any experience doing that. I felt like I was just thrown into like a deep abyss, right? But again, leaning on the teachers who saw the potential in me and taking advice from them was very, very helpful. And that kind of moved on. That experience helped me with like being a leader here at ChiMoney and other leadership roles I've had.
Nice. So for you, it's actually something you've been doing for a long time. So you just had to build on that, and it was
Correct.
useful for the
Yeah.
team at Chimoni.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a bit about Chimoni, right?
Mhm.
Let's do a little deeper into the. into the product and what you're building. Would you mind sharing with us any recent news about ChiMoney, what it was like getting into Techstars and things you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, so coincidentally, we just announced a new partnership with the
Ooh,
Interledger Foundation. So,
congrats.
yeah, thank you so much. So, it's a partnership plus funding that gives us the opportunity to build the Cash App for Canada. We're
Oh,
also
nice.
building Interledger to ChiMoney's infrastructure. And yeah, so we would basically simplify the time it takes to add payments to any product from about 6 months to just 4 weeks with this new partnership that we're announcing. So we're really excited about it. And for Techstars, our Techstars story is like a very interesting one. So at the point we got into Techstars, we're actually not looking to apply for an accelerator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, we're not. So I believe someone encouraged me to apply, and for some reason, I didn't really apply for the Toronto Accelerator, right? I
Okay.
applied for the ones in the US. But the director of Techstars Toronto, Sunil, has we've been following each other on like LinkedIn, and he's seen my work and some things we've done. So he reached out and encouraged me to check out Techstars Toronto, and then we met like in person, had a few conversations. I met the Techstars Toronto team, and then we negotiated the deal. And yeah, it was one of the best decisions we've made as a startup, right? Because Sunil Sharma, he's great, very
Yeah.
experienced in the
Hmm.
startup space here in Canada and the rest of the world. And I mean, the Techstars program is a solid one for early stage companies. I highly recommend the startups to apply.
I appreciate you sharing the background of how you got into Techstars, right? Because it helps other leaders who are still very early, maybe trying to build out an MVP and are looking to get connected with investors on how it happened. First, you guys have already been connected on LinkedIn, probably
Mhm,
had a few talk shop, and
mhm,
now he encouraged you. So there was some sort of visibility about what ChiMoney was doing, and it attracted people. So
mhm.
what is your advice to younger leaders who are building stuff and some of them are sometimes too focused on getting the investors, which is important. It's somewhat important for them to grow. But what would be your advice on how you approached it, how you ensured that your product was looking good, stayed visible, and were able to attract people, investors to you?
Yeah, so one of the things that founders or some leaders, yeah, struggle with is the balance between focusing on product versus promotion, right? And if I was to give an advice, I would say that there should be a balance between the noise we make and what can actually offer. But it appears that a lot of founders are able to make a lot of noise and promote and sell. But when you look at like the value or the product or what they're actually doing, it doesn't match up to the noise that has been made, right? So my recommendation is to focus on building and then make noise to promote uh, what you've built. I mean, for me personally and for ChiMoney, I think there's an opportunity for us to do more noise making in alignment with what we've built, right?
Yeah.
Because the product itself is solid, but we've not like talked a lot about what it offers. So that balance, it's always helpful. And once you have that balance, and then there's a product that works, you're starting to see some traction. Something else is to now start looking at, okay, I have this product, I have this team, and I have some users. What's the next thing I need to do to get to the next level? The next level could be I want to increase my revenue from $500 to $500,000 in 12 months. So what do I need to do to get there? And articulating that clearly, right? So knowing exactly the next stage that you want to get to as a founder, and then putting the resources together to get there. The resources could be additional funding from investors or even from grants, a team to get to the next level, partnerships and things like that. So I think being able to like know where you are and then setting the next milestone and putting resources to get to the next milestone is one of the most important things I found I can do.
Yeah, I love the fact that you mentioned about striking a balance, right? This is important. Bringing a great product is important. Also, making noise is important. But you can't make noise when the product is. You can't even do the basic things that you have promised the people it will do, and I think that's important. But
Hmm.
now, talking about making noise, right? Which has some relationship with networking.
Correct.
What role would you say has it been pivotal to where ChiMoney is at the moment? What's your
Mhm.
approach to networking? How do you view it if someone probably tries to network? And you could always chime in around also partnerships, how to find the
Mhm.
right partnerships because you guys sign a new partnership, the right
Right.
one that will help the business to get to the next level.
Hmm. Yeah. So when it comes to networking, networking is something that we like any founder or anyone should definitely take seriously. So starting out with my first internship after while I was still in university, it was
Yeah.
actually through networking,
Oh,
right?
really?
So
Tell us about it.
so there was my schoolmate. He was an intern at IBM. Uh,
Oh,
On is his name. So he finished his internship at IBM, and I attended a hackathon, and we just kind of spoke. He told me about his IBM experience. I told him I was looking for an internship for like a 16-month internship, and he spoke to like his previous manager at IBM.
oh,
I had just one call, and I got the role, right? And
wow.
that role was getting that role was because of networking, right? It's not because I mean I had the skills, but mostly
Yeah.
I got the work because I was referred. And when bringing it back to like being a founder, right? What has also helped me to like with Techstars, for example, Sunil knew about my work, and then we just casually met to hang out and just talk about ChiMoney, about what
Yeah.
he's doing with Techstars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he was able to speak on my behalf uh, when trying to convince the other Techstars team members to basically uh, approve ChiMoney to join Techstars. Also, there was some like work that needed to be done from a legal and also uh, from legal perspective plus also valuation perspective. He was able to advocate for ChiMoney to get a higher valuation, right, with the like bigger Techstars umbrella. So I mean that's the power of networking, right? You get people that are able to speak on your behalf when you're not there. You get people that are able to basically speak for you and get you things that you will not be able to get on your own.
I appreciate you, sharing those things. Imagine when someone believes in you because I use the word connect. When someone connects with you, there's some people
Mhm.
that say that they meet people and they don't just connect with that person.
Mhm.
But before you can connect with someone, you have to meet that person, you have to have conversation with that person.
Correct.
And it could just take one short 2-3 minutes conversation, and you probably would get the network you need for the next level of your life or
Mhm.
for your business. Now let's move into team management, right? um, I know it's not easy leading people or managing people, right? It's one of the most difficult jobs on earth.
Mhm.
Sometimes I give kudos to guys that lead billion-dollar companies. Of course, it's true that they delegate a lot, but it's still not easy because one
Correct.
mistake is it ruins a lot of things. So for you, how do you ensure that you carry everyone along in the team? You help people that are struggling, people that are doing pretty well. You try to continue to help them do well, maintain that productivity, high productivity and momentum. What is your approach to it?
Yeah. So for me, my approach to leadership and managing a team is I'll describe it as an impact-driven approach, where from the time before we even get someone. on board or before someone joins any team I'm working on at ChiMoney or other teams, I try to see if they can add value. So how I measure it is that this new person I'm bringing on the team, are they going to be the best person for this role when compared to like the other team members? So, for example, as a CEO, you know marketing, you know sales, you know lots of things. But if you're bringing a salesperson and you're better in sales than that person, then you should not be bringing that person on board,
True,
right?
true.
So, for me, it starts with the recruitment process, getting people that are the best at what they do, or they'll be people that can add value to the team. And in terms of management itself and empowering the team, something I like to do is I don't know if hands off approach is the best way to describe it, but I try not to micromanage, right? So I empower the team to be able to make decisions on their own, and I trust the team or everyone on the team to be able to like get stuff done when they are supposed to get it done. So the idea that people should report on how much time they spend on stuff every day or every week and all of those things, I don't think is the best way, at least in my opinion. Right? If you get someone that is smart, dedicated, and wants to actually work with you, they will put in the work to bring to get the best result. Right. So that's kind of the way I approach it. And then finally, in terms of supporting the team to grow, right, as a founder with experience that across my multiple companies across the world, I have uh, some experience than maybe someone that's just starting their career. So what I try to do to with everyone I work with is helping them to level up either in their technical skills, leadership skills, or maybe negotiation or other kinds of skills, right? And anyone that works with me, I want them to be better than when they joined. So if they're not better, then I've failed as a leader.
I love your point of view when it comes to trusting the people you lead. It's crucial. And, you know, when you trust them, you help them know that you trust them. I think for me, it's a booster.
100%, yeah. So 100% trusting that they will be excellent, that they will deliver stuff fast, and also that they will create an impact. I think that's super important. And like you mentioned, communicating that to them also it helps to boost their morale, and it encourages them to want to do their best also.
Thank you for sharing that. And, what you said about helping people level up their skills, because I think that's one of the tasks every manager has. There
Correct.
would
Yeah.
always be skill gaps. It's just what it is. If you think someone does not have a skill gap, then maybe you haven't really critically studied that person. There will
100%.
always
Yeah.
be a skill gap, right? Even when they get promoted to leadership position, they'll still need to ramp up. They'll still need to be trained. Identifying those skill gaps, helping them to bridge those skill gaps and continue to grow, it's one key thing. Before we move out of this topic, what I've noticed a couple of in recent times is employee churn. It seems to be it seems to be the trend now, right? And sometimes it's no fault of either the employee or the employer. Sometimes it's just what it is.
Mhm.
But what's your view on churn, employee churn, and what do you think that you know leaders can do today to curb churn and keep the best talent? Of course, you can't hold someone back if the person wants to leave, but most times, in fact, in ideal situations, you want to keep the great people, the top people on the team, and keep them growing. But what are some tips you could give? What are some things you think leaders can do today to ensure that churn is reduced to the barest minimum?
Awesome. Yeah. That's definitely a great question. So I would say, yeah, it's true that in a lot of cases you cannot keep like the great people either because of compensation or some other factors, right? And but my advice in to leaders when it comes to helping them to retain talent is always start with the why and the heart, right? Because I mean, a lot of these decisions are not logical, right? Someone deciding to leave, it could just be because they are not feeling the place anymore, or they don't feel part of something bigger than themselves anymore. Yeah, compensation is an important factor, and resources provided that are very important factors also. However, I think what's more important is the heart, the why. Does this person believe in what is being built? And even, let's forget, even leaving the product aside, does this
Yeah.
person believe in the founder? I think that's even more
Yeah.
important.
True. True.
Yeah. So the person you're working with should believe in you. They should trust that you have this big vision. You have the ability to deliver it despite maybe there might be some challenges, could be funding challenges, customer acquisition challenges, things like that. There will be those challenges, but if the team believes in the leader, then in a lot of cases they will stay. And some might even yeah, so they will stay despite like lots of challenges, right? So I would say, as a leader, believing in what you're building and being able to articulate that in a way that it comes from your heart, sharing with the team on a regular basis, and just being preaching that vision, working towards that vision despite like all of the challenges. If your team sees that passion, they would want to stay. But I mean, if someone is looking to leave, like a team member is looking to leave, it's kind of hard to like stop. It's kind of too late, right? If someone is telling you that they're leaving, it's kind of too late at that point. But in some cases, team members leave and then they still come back, right? Maybe after things have been stabilized and things like I've had that on our team, right? So again, starting with the heart, leading with the why, it's the way to retain top talent.
Yeah, and that's essentially why it's good not to burn bridges when you're leaving, because you never can tell tomorrow. You might want to come back, you know, and of course, believing in the founder. I love that point you raised because it supersedes every other thing. No matter how much the team members or the staff work, they can't really key into the vision or have the bigger picture more than the founder. The
Mhm.
founder knows where the company is heading to, and the more he communicates or shares what is happening over time would help the other people to key in. Now, we've talked a lot about the leaders.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the people being led, right? For you, what are some, let's talk about the red flags first.
Okay.
What are some red flags that people put up today that are not okay, but can be worked on? The common ones. What do you think they are?
Yeah. So one of the red flags I've seen is uh, over promotion
Oh,
or posting too much on LinkedIn. Unfortunately,
tell us about it. I'd love to hear about it.
lately, a lot of people have hired and worked with that post too much or like overhype the work they are doing. They are often those that are not able to deliver meaningful value, right? So for me, it's a red flag because yeah, I don't know how else to say it. And yeah, I'm not saying people shouldn't post or like say a lot about their work, but from my experience, if someone is posting too much and promoting their work too much, it's just a red flag. And people have hired like that didn't really add a lot of value.
Is that the only red flag that you think? Of course, it's not everyone, but I understand. But is that the only one that for
Yeah.
you?
Mhm. So yeah, so that's one of them. So do you want me to answer in the context of like during the interview or when they joined the team?
Yeah, you could always chime in about during the interview. Things you probably notice either while communicating with you about the skills they have or the experience they have, or even while the person has been hired and some things start coming up. You could always share what those things are.
Yeah. So one of the other red flags I have seen is, I call it the say versus do ratio. Again, it kind of it aligns with the overpromotion
Yeah,
stuff.
it links to the other one, true.
Yeah. So if the say versus do ratio of a person is not aligning, then that's a red flag, right? If someone says they're going to do this at this time, and when that time comes, that stuff hasn't been delivered, and there's no like update about why it wasn't delivered, and that keeps reoccurring for any reason, then
Yeah.
that's a huge, huge red flag. And uh, if they're already part of a team, then we should be discussing like performance improvement and things like that.
Nice, nice, nice. And then these red flags, right, that we've mentioned now, do you think they can be worked on? Do you think it's something a leader can help the person being led to
Mhm.
realize that these things are really red flags and see
Yeah.
how they can be improved? If yes, how should the leader approach it? Because, of course, some people, one thing about solving a problem, helping someone solve a problem is helping the
Mhm.
person realize that this is a problem. And if the person can realize that, then there is more synergy between the two people to find a way to fix it, right? I don't think the first thing that should occur to the mind of a leader should be to let the person go if those things are noticed. There's something that made, I mean, for people that have already been employed, there's something that made the person to decide to take a shot at that person. So, what direction, what approach to the lead do you think the leader should take to correct these things?
Mhm. Yeah, so let's start with the first one, over promotion on social media, especially LinkedIn. For that, I would say the advice I would give is, maybe the mentors of that person could reach out to them and try to understand why they feel the need to like be promoting or over promoting stuff that they've done, even if it's not up to the level that they are promoting it as, right? So maybe understanding the reason why could help, because in a lot of cases, doing that is a way to kind of cover up on some shortcomings, like in skills or something. So the advice, if I was a mentor to that person, I would say, hey, let's focus. Why don't you focus on these skills? It's good to amplify and promote, but maybe we should spend some time building out more stuff and making more impact, which gives us a basis for the noise that we're making. And then taking it internally, where like if there was someone whose say versus do ratio is not aligned. Yeah, so in a lot of cases, it might just be that they're going through personal challenges, right? Especially if they were performing very well before that time. So how I approach it is, I would have a one-on-one with the person and try to understand, okay, what's going on. In a lot of cases, it might be that they're going through some mental health challenges,
Yeah.
or some they lost a family or friend, or just things in life are not moving well. So in that case, you want to try to support. I'll try to support them through
Yeah,
the
sure.
challenge that they're going through. And then, if that's not the case, if they are just maybe distracted with other projects, or they have other priorities, which those priorities are more important than the work that they are doing, then we can decide on, okay, you have this other priority. How can we reduce the expectation that we have for you? So either have them part time if they are very good at their job, and kind of reduce the expectation, and that kind of comes with a reduction in like compensation and other privileges also.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
common. And then the third case is, maybe the person is just not interested anymore, and they don't want to be at the team. And in that case, we go through like a formal PIP, performance improvement plan. We have a standard way of doing this. We clearly articulate this is what was expected on this date. You didn't do this on this date. You didn't do this on that date, and all that. Or find that we set a plan to improve on the performance, and then we set like a log of like how to log how you've made changes to those expectations. So if at the point where they're not making improvement, then the only option for us, at least at ChiMoney, is to let them go. So there are three scenarios. The first one is someone is going through a challenge. Second one is they have other priorities, and then third one is maybe they don't just want to be at the team anymore. So you handle those situations differently depending on what the condition is.
I like where your head is at, Uchi, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, taking it step by step. The goal is to help the person. That's the
Mhm.
ultimate goal. And of course, when there's a template to helping the person and help the person know that we're trying to help you here, right? It's now
Exactly.
left for the person to respond positively and work with the manager or director or founder to get help. And if the person at some point doesn't want to, stay, it's really nobody's fault at this moment. Now
Yeah.
let's move step out a bit
Mhm.
to talk about, because in recent years, 2, 3, 4 years now,
Mhm.
there's been so much that has been happening in the world of artificial intelligence, and you see, I don't, you've seen it, that a lot of businesses are plugging into it. It's
Mhm.
good, right? It's very good, but for some leaders as well, they don't seem to go the direction, right? For you, how do you view it? How do you view the surge of a lot of AI tools, the advancement in AI? Do you think it's something Chimon is looking at maybe now or in the future?
Mhm.
If yes, how do you think you could leverage that? Or generally innovation, how do you keep the team innovative and stay adaptable to survive the harsh market?
Yeah. So with AI specifically, I believe that AI is already changing the way we do work. It's
So much.
changing the world totally. How research is done,
Hmm.
uh, how we learn new things. Previously, it was like you Google stuff, but now you
Yeah.
can just ask and you get answers that are related to your context. So the answers are context aware. Uh, yeah, it's just a different way of thinking, a different way of getting work done, a different way of creating an impact. And I believe AI would make the world better. And for us at ChiMoney, uh, we we want to use AI to make us more efficient. We want to use AI to help us deliver faster. We want to use AI to help us reach more clients. We want to use AI to help the team be more productive, make our platform more secure, and things like that. So, coincidentally, on Monday, yeah, we had a show and tell
Oh,
where I showed the team my AI workflow, right?
that's
So,
nice.
yeah, so I still do some of the coding at Money,
Okay.
and there are some things that I was able to get AI to do, like writing a test and finding like potential security vulnerabilities in an implementation I've done, right? So the AI was able to like do that in 10 minutes compared to like a junior or mid-level developer that would spend an entire week doing
Yeah.
the stuff that AI just did in 10 minutes. So I guess my message for the team was that if we want to stay relevant and if we want to stay valuable, the only option is to adopt these tools because we're moving from a level of just having people push buttons to having people that can think, that can understand the problem holistically, and then that can instruct an AI tool to do the actual hard work, right? And not just instructing them to AI to do the actual hard work, being able to evaluate the solution that the AI has created in the context of the problem that is being solved and uh, determining if that was the ideal or perfect solution for that particular problem. So that's the level of reasoning that at least from our team, I'm expecting it's now more than just being a developer that just pushes button, or being a developer uh, that is told to do this and do that. If a developer is going to be told to do this and do that, why don't we just tell AI to do it? So that's my mindset. And yeah.
It makes a whole lot of sense, Uche. A whole lot of sense. And now, still on innovation,
Mhm.
or keeping the team or the company innovative, because you know very well that users sometimes what they want change. It happens that even as a salesperson having a sales background, sometimes you might be talking with someone and the person wants this, and after some time the person really doesn't want that anymore. The person wants something else related to that, right? So for you, how do you ensure that? What are some steps, what are some things you probably have put in place or are considering to ensure that ChiMoney is innovative, ChiMoney stays top of mind for existing users? Of course, we always want to retain our existing users. We don't want them to go. It's just what
Mhm.
it is. We want to retain them and want to acquire new users. And sometimes acquiring new users might need adding maybe new features, right?
Right.
So what are some things you're currently doing or you've done in the past to stay innovative, to stay top of mind of your current customers, and keep on being top of the game and basically not die as a company?
Yeah. So for existing users, what we've done, what we've been doing in the last few months is building features that delight them. I mean, the core
Nice.
product, yeah, the core product of sending payments via like our web platform or sending payments from our API, that core product works very well, and the current users are very, very happy with us, right? Because with ChiMoney, they can go to market in 4 weeks instead of 6 months for those building
Oh,
remittance use cases.
nice.
But since we have that core product working very well, how can we make like the experience even better? It's with building small features like a better transaction insights page. It's basically a small change that
Mm,
potentially takes a day to do, but
yeah.
building that and then sharing it with our clients, they are always like very, very happy. They can say,
Yeah.
okay, on this day, this is what we did, these are the
Okay.
fees we paid, and things like that.
Yeah.
So just delighting them with small experience improvements, or communicating with them on a regular basis. So I just started this monthly emails that go out to our paying clients that tells them, okay, what we did in the month, if there was a fee change and things like that. The first one I did was actually like a fee change. We were announcing a $1 minimum fee on all transactions. And
Oh.
I mean, that was not like the heading of that message I sent. I mean, the heading was like checking in on you. By the way, we've increased our fees to $1 minimum, regardless of, and everyone took it well, right? So there was no pushback. So checking in on the clients, being available to answer any of the questions that they have, and seeing it as a partnership, right? Because yeah, the product, the moat, or like the value that a company can provide, especially with AI, it's not tech or the product. It's either data, the experience, or the feeling. Right? I guess the feeling and experience are the same thing. So how do you make your clients feel, or
Yeah.
what data do you have
Mhm.
that you can use to provide more insights to your clients that others don't have? I mean, anyone can build a ChiMoney today. But what will make ChiMoney stand out is the client experience, the relationship we have with our clients, how we're able to delight them with small features, and then the partnership that we've set up to even increase the impact that we can have in our clients. The tech and the product is just like, it's not like a selling point, or it's not what makes a product stand out or win.
I like the point you mentioned about experience, because that's what differentiates one brand from the other, right?
Mhm.
Experience. How do they feel when they use the product? And that, increases the longevity of a client, the customer in the product. How do they feel, right? Are they comfortable? Do you always check up on them? And it's super important. These things may seem basic,
Mhm.
but it might surprise you that a lot of companies are not doing it.
Mhm.
They are not.
Yeah.
I use a product. that because I teach people how to sell
Mhm.
software. And we use a product that we use to sometimes call our prospective students who are
Mhm.
considering enrolling for our boot camp to learn how to sell software and all that. You know, the platform we use, they've not for one day on their own reached out to us to say, "Oh, how is it going?" It's only when we have issue that they reach out to us. That's not a good
Mhm.
experience at
Yeah.
all. In fact, I pay for a 1 year subscription,
Mhm.
but once it ends, I don't think I'm coming back.
Mhm. 100%. Yeah. So you always want to be top of mind of the clients that are using you. It could be something like a simple pop up that comes up on the screen when you log in. Uh, we're here for you. If you have any issues, just feel free to respond to this. This team member, it could just be a random name from the list of team members. This team member is going to respond to you when you enter a message, when you send us a message. That's it. That shows that you care about them. You're checking up on them when they log in. Or it could be like a simple email that goes out on a monthly basis to the existing team members. Or it could be that a client did a large transaction and you want to thank them for doing that. It's harder for a bigger company to do, right? To do this, but I guess uh, if that mindset is already instilled from the CEO to the rest of the team, uh, that could still work even in big companies.
Yeah, yes, it could still work even in big companies because the only thing is that if for bigger companies they will now assign the accounts to an account manager, and one
Mhm.
account manager might be thinking like depending on how large the enterprises they are rendering the service, one account manager might take two or three accounts, right? Depending on how large they are, and for the senior ones, they might take like up to five or six.
Mhm.
But the thing is, the company knows that if we have any issue with this particular product, we have someone to reach out to.
Correct.
Even if we don't reach out, the person can on his own send an email, just one email. Oh, I
Yeah.
hope everything is doing well. If you want to talk, if there's an issue, feel free to schedule that. It's enough, right?
Mhm.
But a lot of people are not getting it right. Okay, let's step a little bit aside also from the company back to the founder, you as a leader on your own. I know sometimes there are some things that leaders do, right? That helps them to stay top of their game. Sometimes they don't tell anyone. Sometimes they don't divulge it. It might even be simple things that some other people look down on, but to the leader themselves, it's their secret sauce. It could even be a ritual. It could be something they do. Some leaders tell me they don't work on Fridays, and that's how they do it. And they might even work on Saturdays, but Fridays is a good time to just take time out and just rest and do other things, right? It doesn't mean if there's something coming up, they can't hop on their laptop and fix it, but they're dedicated. Some of them have had leaders that say if they have problems, they'll just stand up. If they work from home, they'll stand up and take a walk, maybe a 5 or 10 minutes walk, and come back, and how to solve that problem is back. Or maybe there's an issue, one thing or the other. They have one secret ritual that they do, that once they do it, it gets them unlocked, and it gets them some. Tell me that the peak working hour is in the midnight. So for you, Uchi, what's that secret sauce? If you have any, what's your ritual you do that personally it has helped you over the years, and also it has also helped your team. Maybe if you shared it with them, it could even be a book. For you, what is it? Tell us so that me too, I will learn and I even apply it.
Yeah. So for me, it's something I call the Uchi's weekly plan. So yeah. So every Monday, I keep it pretty simple. Like it's a document that outlines in bullet points what I want to accomplish this week. So I have about five categories: health, wealth, work, family, love. And I outline like for this week, achieve money, that's under the work side of things. This is what I want us to accomplish, or this is what I as leader want to accomplish this week. I have that for my health. Am I going to go for a walk twice? Am I going to lift twice or once? And then for entertainment or fun, I try one new thing every week.
Oh,
So it could just be
nice.
like going to a circus or
Yeah.
going to watch a show or something. I try to try one new thing every week. it could be a new restaurant or something. So I think that really keeps me going. And then on a several times a week, I look at my checklist and just like use a check emoji, the green check emoji, and just add them to the ones I've completed. So I always know every week what I have to accomplish, and that keeps me really motivated and focused on what the priority is. I mean, things come up,
Yeah.
right? But despite the fact that things will come up, I always try to finish the items in that checklist. And then I'm a morning person, so
Oh,
I'll start my day at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Right? So at that time, I can get through emails really fast. I can reply to the team. We have team members in Kenya and also Nigeria, so their time zone is
nice.
different. So I will reply to the team, unblock people that needs to get unblocked, sign some stuff, and I do that even while still in bed with my laptop. Right? That's before I take any call from anyone. And in some cases, before 12 p.m., I've basically finished
Oh, nice.
full time work. Right, and then I can start doing meetings and all the other things. But yeah, the checklist is I would say is the secret sauce.
I like Uche. I'm not saying this because you're on camera or to make you feel good. I like the checklist. It's basic, it's simple, it just helps to get the work done. And that's what we want. And it's fine. I'll try it out. I use my notepad most time, just scribble out some things. And every day I just look at it and then apply it. Nice. That's really good. Now let's just wrap up basically with I know a lot of people watching this, either young leaders, maybe in their 20s, or really advanced and experienced leaders in maybe their 40s, 50s, and thereabout. Do you have any advice, irrespective? You could even share the advice for the younger leaders who
Mhm.
are leading in some sort of way and probably trying to get into the next level of leadership. And for people at the top level of their career, like you as well, or leading bigger companies, what advice you have for them as well, just to wrap this up?
Yeah. So uh, the advice I have is that everyone is just figuring out things, right? So most people in leadership position don't know everything. So every day there's new thing they're trying to figure out and learn, and everyone has like an insecurity. So we shouldn't let the fact that there's something we don't know or an insecurity that we have hold us back from aspiring to do more or aspiring to like build something great or aspiring to aim higher. So there's always going to be stuff you don't know today. There's always going to be leadership or some new opportunities would definitely be scary. But the fact is that people in this position, at least from my experience, in most cases are still figuring out things and learning things on a regular basis. I think what's more important is uh, the determination to aim for those things and the ability to stay. So grit, like staying power, I think
Yeah.
it's really important.
Thank you so much, right? Personally, this advice I learned from it, sometimes people tell me, guy, you're doing well, but I still don't think I'm there.
Yeah, 100%.
It just happens. They might not know, but you just have this thing locking inside you and say, you never go anywhere.
100%. Yeah, I feel
So
that way too. Yeah, I feel that way too.
yeah. So everybody's just figuring it out. Just take it one day at a time.
Mm,
Just keep doing it, repeating it, and keep learning as you go. And I think that's really key. Nobody knows it all.
100%.
Nobody.
I agree.
Even Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, as big as they are, they're still figuring things out. They make mistakes. So accept it, learn from it, and keep going. Uche, thank you so much for. I enjoyed this conversation. One of the best we've had so far because I could sense the sincerity and openness. You could always sense it. Thank you so much for having this conversation with us. We hope that in the near future, as ChiMoney keeps growing as well. We'll have you back on the show just to talk about the next level of the company we are looking at crushing and learn some more from you as well. Thank you so much, Uchi.
Yeah, thank you, Chikaude. Have a good day, and
And you too.